Thursday means it's time to go to the movies. Yes, around this time every Thursday afternoon, Metro newspaper, Radio Times movie reviewer from Stratford-upon-Avon, James Luxford is here. No rainfall, no flood could keep him from us today. What's it like out there?
I bet you didn't know. I'm a very good kayaker, so I just came in through the floods there with my notes in hand.
Anything to make sure your movie reviews are completed for us. That's commitment to the cause. Let's get into these then, and particularly this first movie that me and my petrol-head son is really looking forward to seeing this weekend. Le Mans 66.
Yes, a racing biopic starring Matt Damon and Christian Bale as the men tasked with helping Ford beat Ferrari in the Le Mans 24-hour race.
Most people can't.
Carroll Shelby.
Maybe.
Lee Iacocca, Ford Motor. Suppose Henry Ford II wanted to build the greatest race car the world's ever seen to win the 24 hours of Le Mans. What's it take?
Well, it takes something money can't buy.
Money can buy speed.
What in about speed?
The trailers for it look really good, but again, 30 seconds in a trailer compared to 2 hours in a theatre might be completely different. Is this worth going to see?
It's 2.5 hours there.
Is it? Wow.
It's very pro-American. I noted in my review this week it was called Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah.
It may as well be called America versus the world. They talk in the first act about how great Ferrari is, how he's changed racing, and I thought, well, why aren't we watching Ferrari's story? Because Ferrari was not born in Texas, and it's very flag-waving, but he's impeccably put together. The racing is extraordinary. I don't really know anything about racing, but I was really engrossed by this idea of creating the perfect lap, as Christian Bale keeps talking about, and the idea to push yourself further. And the two actors in there really bring a human element. I always think with sport films, it's not so much about the sport itself, it's about the people around it in those movies that make it special. And it's just two great actors putting across why this is important.
And do you feel like it's 2.5 hours long? Does it fly by? Or?
No. I think it's. I think any movie that's done right, it can be as long as you want, and it won't feel like it. But then many 90-minute films can feel like 5 hours.
Yeah.
But
been through a few of those.
Yeah, exactly. And particularly exciting bits at the end. And I really like Christian Bale in this. Very good Birmingham accent.
Really?
As Ken Miles, the driver. Yes. My wife's from the Black Country, and some of her family's from all across the Midlands, so they're always a little bit on tenterhooks when anyone has a Midlands accent. Yeah, but it's very good. I thought it was quite passable.
Okay. Last couple of weeks you'll have heard us on BBC Coventry and Warwickshire playing the new George Michael single. It's taken from a movie which you might have already seen the bus sides for and posters up around town for. The movie's called Surprise Surprise Last Christmas, and James, you've been to see it.
Yes, it's the Christmas rom-com featuring the music of George Michael about a troubled young lady who meets a man who makes her look at life differently.
Oh, you! Again.
What do you mean again?
Did you follow me here?
Are elves always so cynical?
Yes, relentlessly. These are dark times.
I'm Tom.
Kate?
And then what happens after that?
Exactly. Not a great film, unfortunately.
Really?
I didn't like this at all. I thought the stars were very sweet. Emilia Clarke and Henry Golding, who you just heard there, are very charming, but I thought it was quite badly written. It sort of forces in the messages that don't really land, and I think just it doesn't really come together, which is surprising because Emma Thompson co-wrote it, and she's an Academy Award-winning writer. But this, for me, just didn't come together. There's a twist sort of maybe 2/3 of the way through that you see coming from a mile off, and actually made me a bit unintentionally laugh. I didn't really like it. I think if you're the sort of person that puts their Christmas tree up on the 1st of November, you're going to love this, because it's just pure festiveness, but as a film.
House in Bedworth we featured on this radio station does just that. Actually got their table ready already for Christmas lunch.
Well, they'll love it, but as a film, not for me.
And what about the music? Obviously, is it just an excuse to cram like 12 George Michael songs into a movie?
To me, yeah, it felt a bit sort of forced in. Obviously, certain songs have certain meanings within the plot, relate to certain where the characters are. To me, it's just sort of, it felt like an excuse to have those songs in there, to use that title, there's not too much about George Michael in it that I felt related.
Okay. Final one for this week, and again, one I've seen trailers for, and I've just from the trailer thinking, how is this going to work? Okay. Little Monsters. Explain this.
Yes, Australian comedy where Lupita Nyong'o plays a school teacher who tries to shield her children when their school trip is attacked by zombies.
Must be something in the way.
What is it, Miss Caroline?
Stop the tractor!
Are you okay?
Yes! Don't be scared. Who remembers how to play tag? Well, those funny-looking people out there are it.
Well, you expressed surprise there, and I did look at it and think, what? School kids? Zombies? How's this going to work?
Yeah, starts out sort of as a Shaun of the Dead clone, if you like, quite bit rude in the first act. When Lupita Nyong'o comes in, it really takes off. I really like who she is in this film. She's a teacher who's desperate to shield the kids from all that's happening. So, for example, she's covered in blood. She says, "Oh, I've just been out for a jam fight," and she has to get them through a field of zombies. She starts a conga, and it's this comic element to this normally very serious actress that I really enjoyed, and just seeing a different side to her performance. There's so many zombie films in the last few years, in those really since Shaun of the Dead, 15 years that try and do zombie comedies. To find anything new in that subgenre is really effective, and this does here.
Does work. Okay, Little Monsters. Good stuff. Dare I say, as we sat here on Thursday, November the 14th, and you previewed Last Christmas, are we there now in terms of Christmas and box office? Are these the movies that we're going to be talking about over the next couple of weeks in terms of box office stats for Christmas?
I think so. Certainly in the next couple of weeks, you've got Frozen 2 coming out, which is just going to hoover up all of the money. I was talking about this yesterday with my wife. I said, it doesn't really feel like it's out yet. And she sort of looked at me with a raised eyebrow and went, that's because you're not 7. And I'm sure with people with kids, and it's going to be everywhere. And of course, Star Wars as well in December.
I've already seen, you can book for that, can't you, online already for that. So that's going to be a massive box office hit. James, great to see you as ever. Safe kayak back to Stratford-upon-Avon. James Luxford, whose reviews you can read, of course, in the Radio Times and Metro newspaper, with us every Thursday on BBC Coventry and Warwickshire.
BBC Coventry and Warwickshire Travel.